Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf. Today we are going to be doing a full face of NIP+FAB, which is a really affordable range which is available in the US, it's available in the UK, it's available in the EU, practically everywhere. I am pretty new to NIP+FAB, so I am really excited to get some of these on my face and see how they apply. What's going to be my favourite? Are any of these just not going to work for me? Let's find out. Okay, so I've already got my eyeshadow base on my eyelids. We're going to jump straight into eyeshadows. NIP+FAB do 5 different eyeshadow palettes and they're all very reasonably priced. So they do a really bright palette, they do pinks, they do neutrals, they do warms, and this is the more cool tone palette. I actually bought this with my mum in mind because I think she would really like this eyeshadow palette, so I am going to try it on her, probably on an Instagram video, so do keep your eye out for that one. But this is in the shade 04 in Gentle Glam. It's £12.95 in the UK, $20 in the US, and you get 12 different colours in this palette. So let's just jump straight in. I'm going to go straight for this orangey peachy, very neutral shade at the bottom as my transition shade. I'm going to work it up from there. Now these are very, very pale colours. I'm hoping for a little bit of payoff. You do have to get quite a bit on the brush for this shade to get any decent colour payoff, but I have chosen a shade that is very, very close to my natural skin colour, so maybe that was a bit of an error. Let's try this purpley shade at the bottom and see whether we get more joy out of this one. Okay, I really don't think you can pick this up on camera. The colour payoff in this palette, at least with the 2 shades that I've tried so far, is poor. Very, very poor. I'm going to dip into this more bluey toned one because it's the darkest shade in the palette and I'm hoping for some colour on the lid today. They are quite chalky in texture. Still not great, is it? Still not great. Okay, so let's just call it like it is. The shades in this palette are not pigmented. You aren't going to get the colour that is actually in the pan like you would from buying a more expensive palette from ABH or maybe from Urban Decay. It's poor. It's poor, and will I reach for this palette again? Probably not. Very disappointed. Okay, so that is a bust for me. I have applied the shimmery shades with my fingers like you've just seen. The shimmery shades are actually quite nice and do have a little bit of pigment to them, which is refreshing. But the matte shades, the only thing good about them is they blend beautifully, and they blend beautifully because there is 0 pigment. Not happy. Moving along. Okay, so let's get some foundation on my face because that did not go well, and I am slightly in a bad mood now, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so this is the foundation that NIP+FAB do. It's in a really dinky little bottle. It looks quite cute actually. It looks like you hardly get any product in here, but you're actually getting the standard 30 mils. So the standard amount for your money, which is £12.95 in the UK, $18.50 in the US, comes in 12 different shades. One of those shades, however, are lightning drops so that you can make this customized to your actual skin tone. I've gone for the shade 05, which I believe is their lightest shade, bar the lightning drops. So let's get some of this on. It's actually quite a thick liquid. It's standing firm on my hand. So let's see how it blends on the face. Wow, this is very peachy toned. Okay, this does feel quite thick. Ooh, it's not blending very well either. Maybe I applied a little bit too much in one go. Let's see if it sinks in. Okay, so this is not blending well at all. It's going to be another Wet n Wild day, isn't it? Okay, breathe. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Just put it on. What could go wrong? Okay, so I am going to show you this in natural lighting to actually show you how wrong this looks on my face. I am by no means saying that this will not suit somebody else's skin, but it does not suit mine. Let me show you. Okay, so let me zoom you in on this mess. I don't know if the camera is actually picking that up, but this has emphasized every single little bit of texture that I have on my face. It sank into my fine lines. It sank into every bit of dryness that I've got. It sank into all my pores. It's just awful. I don't think you can call it anything else but awful. Okay, so I've done my brows off camera just to make myself feel better because I always feel better when my brows are done. We're going to move on to concealer and just keep everything crossed and hope for the best. Okay, so this is the concealer that NIP and FAB do. It comes in a really nice bottle, actually. I'm quite pleasantly surprised by this. It's £9.95 in the UK, $14 in the US. You get 7ml worth of product. It comes in 10 different shades, and I've gone for the lightest shade, which is 01. I'm going to put this on the back of my hand like I normally do. So this is going patchy before I even do anything with it, but it is blending out a lot better, but there are bits that are pigmented and then there are bits that aren't, which is slightly confusing. The consistency of this product is actually quite hydrating though. It doesn't feel like a thick drying consistency. It actually feels quite hydrating, which is very pleasant on the skin. There's also no scent to this, as there was no scent to the foundation either, which again is a big plus for me because perfumes are just not necessary in my view. Do you know what? Although I thought that this was going to be a lot fuller coverage than it actually gives, for me that can be forgiven because this is a really natural looking finish. It's actually quite dewy and illuminating, and it feels lovely on the skin, really moisturizing, really hydrating, just a really light coverage, and I like that. I would say this gives a medium coverage, so if you have really dark circles, you will probably need to use a color correct before you use this because this will not cover up your dark circles on its own. I really like this product, so the concealer is a hit for me. Okay, so I've done my mascara and liner off camera because I couldn't find a mascara or a liner in the NIP and FAB range. In hindsight, there was probably one on the website that I could have bought, but I bought all my products from Superdrug and I got a really, really good deal. So I think 2 items were £15, and considering that this next item was £15 by itself, I think I got a pretty good deal. We're going to move on to contouring. I'm really quite excited about using this product because it looks very, very similar to the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palettes. This is £15 in the UK, $20 in the US. Comes in 3 different coloured palettes. So this is 01, which is light, but there's also a medium and a dark palette. You get 6 different shades in there. One is a brightening shade, which is the yellow one. We've got a matte highlighting shade, a shimmery highlighting shade. This, I'm guessing, is more of a bronzer because it's very, very warm. And then you've got 2 contouring shades. I will probably miss out this because it's still a little bit too orangey warm for me, even for a bronzer. So let's try this out. I'm going to take my angled cheek brush and I'm going to go straight into the lightest contour shade that there is and hope for some pigmentation. That's actually quite nice. I'm not going to go too overboard with the contouring today. I'm just going to do quite a natural contour, if there is such a thing. Just going to do my cheekbones and my forehead. I actually really like that. That's blending out really nicely. Really easy to blend. Quite pigmented considering that I only put my brush in there twice. So 1, 2. It's actually quite impressive. It's not as cool as I would like. This shade here, even though it looks cool in the pan, is going on more of a yellowy. It's got quite warm undertones to it, which is not what I would usually go for in a contour shade. But today, this will do nicely. I'm not offended by it. There's no patchiness with this. It's blending out really nicely. It's not too powdery in the pan. There's no kickback whatsoever when I'm dipping my brush in there. So these are the complete opposite to the shadows that I used earlier, which were very, very dry, very powdery, and not very much pigmentation. Okay, let's move on to blush because I feel like I look completely washed out at the moment. NIP+FAB do 2 different quad palettes. One is darker than the other. So this is in the shade 01, which is called Blushed. It's £10.95 in the UK, $16 in the US, and obviously you get 4 shades. I actually thought I was going to get 2 matte shades and 2 sparkly shades. Looking very closely at it, they all look quite sparkly, which is not the usual look that I go for. I like quite matte blush, but we're going to try these out because they look really pretty in the pans. I'm going to go for this corally shade up here. Let's try that one out. See how pigmented this is. That's actually quite pigmented. Really happy with that. That's a lovely, lovely blush. Let's see if it blends out quite nicely because I've probably applied slightly too much. Definitely more than I usually would. I really like this. They're super pigmented, really easy to blend out. Really like the shades that are in the pans. Even though they do look a little bit shimmery in the pan, it doesn't look shimmery on my face. I do feel like this looks quite matte. And you will probably be seeing this in the description box of quite a few future videos because I think it's a lovely product and I will definitely be using this again. Let's move on to liquid lips. Now I picked up 2 different matte liquid lips from Superdrug when I bought all my products. There are 13 different colours to choose from. This is £7.95 in the UK, $11 in the US, and I've gone for the shade 40, which is Pink Lemonade, and also 45, which is Spice. Both of these colours are my sort of colours and I would wear these on a regular basis. So I'm going to put on 40, which is Pink Lemonade, and see how this goes on. So it's got a tiny doe foot applicator. Let's get some of this on. Really easy to apply. Very precise. So this was really easy to apply. It's got a really precise applicator, which meant that I could overline my lips slightly without the need for a lip pencil. So I would only have to carry this around with me, 1 product, rather than having to carry around 2 throughout the day, which is always a bonus for me. This is not an ultra thin consistency, but again, it's not a massively thick consistency either. It's a little bit in between. It's not unpleasant. It was really nice to apply, but it is feeling a little bit drying on my lips. So this may be one of those products that you would need to apply a lip topper, something a little bit more moisturizing and hydrating to prevent your lips from drying out throughout the day. The one thing I will say, it doesn't have any fake scent to it, like a chocolatey scent or a really sickly scent, which I cannot stand. It makes me feel quite ill when I apply those because I can just taste chocolate all day and it's really quite sickly. However, it does have like an antiseptic disinfectant sort of smell, which obviously isn't a smell that's been put in this for a purpose. It's just what the product smells like. It's not totally unpleasant. I prefer it to the chocolatey smells that you get in some liquid lips, but it's definitely a smell that is there and you need to be aware of. So if you don't think you'll like that, then that might not be for you. So the final thing I'm going to try out today is a little bit of fixing mist. This is their Illuminating fixing mist. It's £9.95 in the UK, $14 in the US. They do two different versions of this. So they do a matte fixing mist and they also do the Illuminating fixing mist, which has got quite a few sparkles in. If you don't like glitter all over your face or a little bit of shine, then you might want to go for the matte fixing mist. Pretentious wafting. This also doesn't have a scent to it, which is always good. Actually quite like that, not too sparkly. It's very, very fine pearlescent flecks in there, so you shouldn't go out looking like a glitter ball. But that's actually feels really nice on the face, really hydrating, so I'm definitely not mad at this product and I will probably use this one again. Okay, so this is the final full face of NIP+FAB. I've got to say, I think I've seen my face looking a lot nicer than this in the past, and I think that is all down to the fact that the NIP+FAB Foundation, regardless of how cute the little bottle is, just did not agree with me. Now again, I'm not saying that this is going to be the same for absolutely everybody, but this foundation does not like me and I will probably not be using it again because I think you start off with a bad base, then everything else looks a little bit blur. And that's how I feel about everything that's gone on today, because all I can see is the patchy, blotchy foundation. Anyway. Also, the eyeshadow palette. This was a huge disappointment. I said at the beginning of the tutorial that I bought this with my mum in mind, that I was going to do an eyeshadow look with her, probably on Instagram. Probably won't be doing that now. This is a lot of faff to get any pigmentation out of these shadows whatsoever. Again, this is one of 5 eyeshadow palettes that NIP+FAB done. Maybe this is the worst of the bunch. Maybe this is a bad batch. I don't know. I just don't like it. That's what I do know. So all in all, a successful try-on full face of NIP+FAB. Obviously, there were a couple of products that did not work for me, which I will give a wide berth in the future, but all the rest of the products were really successful, really pleasant, and very, very affordable. So definitely worthwhile going out and trialing those at home yourselves. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please do give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget, I'm also on Instagram if you want to follow me on there. It's @PamperedWolf, all lowercase, no spaces. I do different makeup videos on Instagram than I do on YouTube, so please make sure you are following me on there as well. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave. There is a watermark in this corner. If you click on it, it will take you through to my homepage where you can subscribe. Hope to see you all again soon. Bye!